Example of self-dealing as I have seen in a while. Again, referring to that Mar-a-Lago example, there was another one with a golf course as well to settle a dispute. A donation was given from the foundation to charity. Can you categorically say there was no self-dealing, or at this point, are you not sure?
Well, I've been talking to the people who are responsible for the Trump Foundation today, trying to get some facts and some figures, and so I know this is all developing. We need to gather information, but let me tell you, it's very important for people to understand what happened in these cases. Donations went to veterans groups. Donations went to another person's foundation in another instance. The idea that the money went for, when people hear self-dealing, Aaron, you know what they think of immediately, that it's going for plane rides and fancy hotels and expensive meals and certainly salaries and overheads. Again, that sounds to me like the Clinton Foundation, where a report this weekend said about 6% of their money got to charities. A lot of it was wasted in overhead.
But
that
again,
is not the case here.
Nobody in the Trump
family
Foundation
is in the Clinton Foundation.
Kellyanne, the point, though, is the Trump Foundation, and if this was settling a lawsuit that enabled Donald Trump's business to benefit, whether it be Mar-a-Lago or a golf course, that would possibly then be self-dealing.
I'm sorry, how did his golf course benefit from him redirecting monies that mistakenly came to the Trump Foundation? He redirected them to someone else's private foundation based on a hole-in-one contest. They were misdirected to his foundation. I'm told by his accountants and attorneys they went to the right foundation after that. How in the world did his business benefit from that? How did Mar-a-Lago benefit from him giving $100,000 to veterans? The veterans benefited, and I think that's great. I applaud him for doing that.
Well, the business, of course, benefited by the lawsuit going away and being settled, right? That would be how the business benefited.
Well, there are many lawsuits every day against people. I think that's a bridge too far. I think you're making things up based on facts as they are not reported in this story, which also uses a lot of conditional phrasing, I would like to point out. But look, the foundations exist to help charities, to help those in need. And Mr. Trump has been incredibly generous throughout his career. I'm up in his office here in Trump Tower routinely when he is signing checks privately to help people that isn't even part of the foundation. I mean, can you imagine, and I know you can imagine, Aaron, you can only imagine how many people have asked Mr. Trump for his time, his resources, and his connections and his money privately, and he does that. He doesn't have cameras in there. It doesn't go through foundations. And by the way, everybody should also know that foundation disbursements, as you know, under federal law, are all a matter of public record. That's how this Washington Post reporter, who seems a little obsessed with Donald Trump these days, that's how he got this information in the first place.
But you mentioned
it's all a matter of public record.
Yes, it is a matter of public record when it comes to the foundation, and you mentioned that he writes private checks. Obviously, part of the issue here, for some people, is that Trump has not donated to his own foundation since 2009. He did up to that point, and then he no longer did. So
for decades.
But since 2009,
okay. The foundation started in 1987. Let's be fair here. If we're going to throw words and figures around, let's be fair to Mr. Trump. The foundation, as I understand it, started in about 1987. For a very long time, Donald Trump was the only donor to the foundation.
Yes.
I mean, people think that there's no history before 2009. Let's be fair to him. And you say that some people think this is an issue. I don't see it in the CNN poll anywhere. I see jobs, economy, terrorism, healthcare, immigration. I mean, good Lord, just down the street from us right here, we had this terrorist, this radical Islamic terrorist whose ex-wife says he hates gays, he hates America, tried to kill people. Thank God he didn't, but he certainly scared a whole heck of a lot of us, and he certainly injured many people who have our prayers and condolences, our prayers here at the Trump campaign. So I do want to talk about the issues that Americans are talking about, but this isn't on the list.
I would say, Kellyanne, one thing, though, of course, when you talk about those private checks and private donations, everybody would know what they were. There would be no issues if he just put out his personal taxes, because that's where all that would show up. So that's the only thing I would say on that, is all that would be out there for everybody, and quiet perhaps some of this, which I will say I do believe is a real issue, to have full financial transparency, and I said that with Mitt Romney as well.
One thing I can tell you, one thing that you wouldn't see in his tax returns, Aaron, is like $16.5 for some advisory position at Laureate University that Bill Clinton gets. You wouldn't see $21.5 million for 92 speeches that Hillary Clinton gave. She gives speeches for free now. Nobody seems to want to listen to them. She doesn't get these rally crowds that Donald Trump gets anywhere. So I think if we're going to use foundations as an issue, we actually, that would be great if actually people want to do some fair even-handed reporting about the foundations at work here, because the Clintons are very involved in their foundation, seem to have financially benefited, seem to have used through the foundation to help, not to help necessarily the victims of the earthquake in Haiti get all the money they were expecting, but certainly to help their friends and allies and colleagues get special favors and be granted access, yes, at the State Department. That's been made very clear through some emails, but also around the world.
So, Kellyanne, I want to get you on the record about another news story out there today. Of course,